Case Summit. And today you will be hearing from our early childhood team who will be speaking to you about how we present our programming every week for the parents, the families, the caregivers, and the children that attend our sessions, our early childhood sessions. And we will start out with Sucheta Pardikar. Oh, I think we are starting out with our wellness educator, Meena Natarajan, followed by Sucheta Pardikar, our early childhood lead, and then Tulika Dugar, who is our fitness instructor and navigator. So, this is how we have lived through quarantine. This is how we work with our families and breathe through quarantine. And please do stay muted while our presenters are presenting their session. We will be taking questions right at the end of all the presentations. Thank you. We will start out with Meena Natarajan, our wellness educator.
Namaste and welcome you all. I am Meena Natarajan, a wellness educator for IAWW. Young moms often go through a lot of stress and anxiety due to the physical and physiological changes happening in their body. Yet IAWW addresses this using yoga techniques to stretch and strengthen their body before and after childbirth and breathe very well, smoothly, so that their mind can be very calm and handle any task at hand. We will begin the yoga session. These are all simple 7 minutes practice for young mothers to follow, and it's also help you bond well with your baby and you also enjoy your me time. Come on to the mat. Let's all hold these up. Let's begin our session by balancing our body and mind with the free pose. You can have your baby in your hand, lift one leg up and tuck it all the way up on your thigh and take a deep breath in while lifting your one hand and breathe out. Bring your hands down and relax. Alter your leg one after the other and repeat it for about 5 to 6 times or maybe 1 minute. Next pose is going to be a plank pose. You can keep the baby just in front of you and bring your hands under your shoulder blade, on your toes, lower your hip and enjoy the baby. Give a good smile and don't forget to breathe. This tones your core, stretches your hamstrings and builds strength to the entire body. After that, you can bring your knees forward between the two hands, stretch your back leg. This opens your hip well and stretch your hands forward and bend forward to even give a nice kiss to your baby. You can have great bonding time here with your baby. And this is an asymmetric asana. You also need to change your leg to practice this for at least a minute. Now I'm going to hold the baby, and this is very important, a pelvic core strengthening. Tuck your heels in, toes out, knees out, and squat yourself. Hold your baby in your chest. Inhale, lower your height. Exhale, stand tall. This is an extremely important pose for you to strengthen your loose pelvic floor. Next, I want you to be on your back. Rest your back and have your baby on your chest. It's a bridge pose to strengthen your back and your quads. Have your baby on your inhale, your waist. Exhale, bring your waist down. And this relaxes completely your lower back. At the same time, it strengthens your quads. Now bend your knees, bring your baby to the knees, and you can still enjoy your baby. You can communicate and give a good smile. Now inhale, gently move your knees away. Exhale, bring your knees closer and give a good smile to your baby. Exhale, inhale away and exhale, enjoy and bond with your baby. Touch your legs, bring your baby to the chest. Give a little pat to the back of your baby. Legs away and take a deep breath for at least 1 minute. Corpse pose. And this relaxes your back and the entire body, and it can rejuvenate your body. This is very important to relax. Stay in this pose for at least a minute. Once you are done, you can get up and sit. Now we'll talk about a few breathing techniques to calm your toddler. Toddler can be very difficult before going to bed. There are many techniques for toddlers to breathe. I'll illustrate a few. Suggest the child is holding a bubble wand and let him hold it in front of his mouth and suggest him to take a deep, nice inhale and gently blow out the bubble, pretending the room is filled with soap bubbles. Let the baby toddler continue this for at least a couple of minutes, and we will make sure the child, child can be very calm. And the second technique is a straw breathing. You have to bring your lips and make it like a straw so that you can suck the air through the straw and blow it out by making the cheeks little big. Once you put the toddler to sleep, now it is time, in case your infant is not cooperating for the day. You can't teach an infant to breathe, but when your body and when your mind is calm, you can exhibit that calmness and transfer that energy to the child. Take a deep breath, closing your eyes. Inhale and exhale. Bring a nice sound through your mouth. Repeat it for at least a few minutes while giving a nice clap. Those simple techniques. Hope you enjoy this session. Thank you for joining. In case you have any questions, please.
She want to see you. She said call her or come see her or some kind of way. She at work today, but she wants you to.
This is just a reminder to please mute yourself.
Thank you. I'm done.
Thank you, Meena. We will now start with our early childhood enrichment and learning session by Sucheta Padikar.
Hi, my name is Sucheta Padikar, and I'm an early childhood education lead at IAWW. I'm a Montessori certified teacher, and I have worked with children for last 30 plus years. Play. I am going to talk about two things. Okay. What is play and why is play important? So, and how do we incorporate play in our daily schedule? What is play? Play is the work of a child, right? By Maria Montessori. Dr. Maria Montessori believed that the goal of early childhood should be to spur the child's natural curiosity and desire to learn. So with that in mind, she illustrated 4 types of play to help children explore the world around them. Physical play to stimulate motor skills and coordination. Sensory play to instill creativity and emotions through senses, like see, hear, touch, taste, smell. Group play or play where kids will learn to work with collaboration and foster friendship and develop emotional bonds with other young children as well as grown-ups around them. And solitary play is a play for children to develop problem solving skills, intellectual skills, thinking, and better memory. Now, for our today's presentation, how can we learn through play? And learning through play is what Maria Montessori and what a lot of early childhood educators are doing these days. So for today's understanding, I've categorized these play through 2 major set of categories, broad categories of skills, fine motor and gross motor coordination. So, for example, in this slide, in the first 2 pictures, you will see these 2 children are working with pipe cleaner and also with straws. So in the first picture, this child is putting pipe cleaners through the straws and creating some shapes. Whereas in the second picture, the child is just using the pipe cleaners and matching this to the shapes that are in front of it. What are these 2 learning by this? By playing with this, they're learning how to, their fine motor coordination, how to put the pipe and figuring it out, how to make different shapes. At the same time,
You know
how
what?
to match these pipe cleaners to the shapes, the colors, the language.
This looks just like an outdoor
I made
market.
a triangle and I made curvy and I made a rectangle.
Yeah.
So
Markets I went to in
language,
California.
fine motor coordination, as well as trying to problem solve, like how am I going to match this exact same colors of pipe cleaners to the same shapes? In the next set of 2 pictures, what are they learning? They're learning through their senses, right? By putting these finger painting onto the paper and feeling the finger paints and feeling what else I can make with this. Like I'm making some finger stamps, or I'm making some, actually the goal in this picture was to make clovers. And so
Pascal looks more like it.
really young, they were not able to. In the second picture, he's learning through magnetic sand, scooping it out the sand. So this activity actually involves gross motor as well as fine motor coordination, but majorly fine motor coordination. In the last picture here, the child is learning a lot of things. Here, they are learning colors, they are learning how to put and figure out to put these pom-poms through the hole or transfer these pom-poms through the tongs and stuff like that. So what do these fine motor, why these fine motor coordinations, right? Because the fine motor skills make the child their movements using the small muscles in their hands and in their wrists. And children also use these skills to demonstrate many school activities. Next slide, please. Many school activities. So the skills are very important for to develop, and for children to play with such activities. They really will enhance these fine motor skills and help them grow, help them in their growth and intelligence, and develop continuity throughout their stages and all in their childhood as well as in their adulthood. In the next slide, I have a lot of pictures that will help a child through their gross motor coordinations, right? Gross motor involves the whole body, right? Being able to balance and coordinate all of your joint and muscles in your body to make these tasks possible. For example, look at this boy hitting a ball with a bat. So he is not only just wanting his eyes towards the bat, but wanting that balance and wanting to hit that one-handed, holding the bat in one hand and making the moving ball, hitting that is really hard for a 2, 3, 4-year-old child unless they get these tasks. They have to really coordinate their body to achieve this task. Also, similarly, with the jungle gym or kicking the ball, where he has to really balance this on his one leg to kick that ball, climbing the ladder and then coming down the slide, or also hanging out from the bar, right? So this gross motor involves the whole body, and uh, uh, this gross motor coordination, it involves the whole body. Because play consists of developing these fine and gross motor skills, we need to incorporate these skills in our and these different techniques into our daily routines. And that's why this daily routine is very, very important, right? So why this gross motor coordination is on this in this slide, and these skills will involve not only just the gross motor coordination and neurological system, but it also help them to make the fine motor coordination proper. So basically, we are incorporating all these independent skills to include in our daily routine. And why is this daily routine so important? Because while I was teaching to my moms in my classroom, this daily routine of dad is getting up in the morning, getting ready and going to work. And then mom also, some of the moms who work, they also pick up the baby and an older sibling, drop the older sibling to the school, drop the child to a daycare, and then she goes to the work. But all that really got disturbed during the COVID, and children were very anxious. They were very, very vulnerable during this stage, because nobody's going to work. Everything that we did was totally reversed. Everything was at home. Nobody could get out of the house. So in our class, we talked about what was the importance of this daily routine. And even though this daily routine looked totally different than what we were used to, we really, because this dad is working from one of the bedrooms in the house, and the mom is working through another room, and the older sibling is on the Zoom camera doing schools, whereas this little child is very anxious and has nowhere to go. But everybody else in the family has something to do. So all families needed some type of routine to establish, and we really talked about this routine and with our moms. And why is this routine, even though everybody is working from home and doing school from home, it's important because it helps bring normalcy to our everyday life, right? And it brings a sense of security that, okay, even though nobody's going, everybody still is working, everybody's still eating breakfast, everybody's still eating lunch. And while this lunch was happening at wherever, at daycare, school, or at mom's and dad's work, we're still eating this lunch together, right? So something to bring normalcy to our life during this COVID time. So, and bring consistency in our routine. It is also important to include the special elements in our daily routines, right? So schedule, it brings families together while eating lunch or dinner together and talking about how their day went by, even though it was all through home. Establish expectations, because that now after lunchtime, everybody's going back to their rooms and going back to their work. They know, the children, young children, they will still know that, oh, this is what we do now, right? So, and they establish expectations. For example, everybody is so busy during all day life. And so this little child is just working and playing with his toys. In between, mom and dad and siblings are coming and helping him out play. The room is disaster. The toys are everywhere. So establishes expectations. So they have to establish a routine. What is that routine? That after dinner time, everybody's going to help pick up the toys, so that nobody's yelling and shouting at each other, and everybody's bringing this chaos a little calmer. It gives household a calmer, because the child and the other families know that, oh, there is going to be some calmness after this whole day is done. We are going to eat dinner together. We are going to do the bath routine, and then we're still going to pick up toys right before we go upstairs to bath and bring this. And that really brings the stress and anxiety level down with the entire family. Also, when the household is calmer, it establishes stability in our life, and it also reduces the change, right? But remember, all those three, through this routine is happening, we also need to know that bringing flexibility and change, a little bit of change and flexibility adapting our circumstances. For example, breakfast dishes can wait if you see an exciting animal in the backyard, or if there is a special milestone birthday on Zoom that somebody's having. So you can wait for those dishes, and you can still have that milestone birthday and celebrate on Zoom, and then come back into back to our bedtime routine or our snuggle time, good night kisses, and story time. So work towards consistency and make room for flexibility was my motto that I gave it to my young moms that were really struggling through this COVID-19 routine at home, and everybody was at home. So I really, really hope that you enjoyed my presentations today, and I will pass it on to the next person in my team. Thank you so much for listening to me.
Thank you, Sucheta. We now bring Tulika Dugar, who is our fitness educator as well as navigator, to talk to you about conversations around the dinner table during COVID.
Hello, everybody. My name is Tulika Dugar, and I am a body, mind, fitness, and nutrition consultant and coach. I had an active practice of being a fitness and nutrition consultant for the past 15 years. And I am so excited to be here with you all and support my colleagues and the work that we do. And especially during this time of quarantine and of unlimited days and months of lockdown, we are trying our best to navigate whatever we did in person and bring it out in a digital format. I will move to my first slide. Being an Indian from India and then having kids who were born here, my mission is to start everything at home, to try everything that I can at home, to see the kind of, fears and pushbacks that I get from my people within my family, where I raise a 17-year-old and a 12-year-old today, and they are not easy. So if I pass the test at home, then I'm walking the talk and I'm able to translate it and help people that I work with. My mission is to integrate my culture and stitch it to the culture that is portable to the kids here, so they are excited and also committed to follow with me. There are two kinds of systems. Of course, in India, we have the vegetarian and the non-vegetarian. And sometimes there's a dilemma. How do we, navigate and balance the two? If I'm going to start with carbohydrates, proteins, fats, no one's going to listen to me. So I'm trying to make visuals over here, and I'll show you what I did at home. Of course, putting more vegetables is important. And secondly, to back off from being, of kind of showing my love through food and replacing my love with time with my kids. And so here's an example of a fusion dinner. And as you can see, this is a spicy chicken sandwich on a bun. And my kids actually told me that it was a Chick-fil-A. And you know what? That was an aha moment for me, because for my daughter, if you pinch the view, she had it with a bun. She did not want a salad. So I gave her the option of picking a fruit. She picked an apple. I think she did great. And I wrapped my chicken on a lettuce. So it's doable. And, we had this lovely conversation around the dinner table about what spices went in there. And these days I'm recognizing that spending time around the table, which is also a homework table, is also a place where we crack jokes, we play games and board games. And it's so much more than just the dinner table itself. I'll move on to the next slide. This here, if you pinch the view, and I'm always trying to push in, whether you're a vegetarian or a non-vegetarian, we all need our phytonutrients. We all need our antioxidants, and fruit will come, but the vegetables are the hardest to push. So I try to make an arugula salad look really yummy and cool. And that's always by my work mode. And I always try and have fun with it, which is why you see that winky smiley face. And then the second plate is of a chicken keema that I used on my nacho supreme. So here I hid my Indian ground spices in my ground up chicken, I put it on a bed of nachos, which my son loves. He doesn't like cilantro, and that's fine. So I put, green onions and some cucumbers and tomatoes with lots of cheese. And this was a super hit and had all the goodness of vegetable protein and carbohydrate with a crunch. Let's go on to the next slide. So, like I said, I have this instinct inside me, and I try and force feed many times because that's what I was done. And I realized that I did not like it. And now I'm trying to fight my own muffin top. So, coming from there, I'm trying to use some time of this quarantine in thinking that love is actually time and not food. If a child is telling me that they are full, it's because they are, and I have to trust them, because if I don't show that I trust them, they won't trust me. And here are my nephews at home, and we are using our dinner time in activities like a brush, and not to be fastidious and say, oh, you can't get paint to the table. You know what? It's okay as long as we're having fun and we're continuing that dinner time conversation. Here is a gnocchi pasta in which I sprinkled some garam masala and I boiled up and sauteed some broccoli. Simple, easy, and fun. And we also went out for a walk because the sun was shining. And below you will see I cut up some mango and I sprinkled some smoked paprika so that I could get a little bit of heat in it and tell them that this is how I do it and let them make those choices. Of course, there's a pasta, and I always, in a ravioli or in a gnocchi, I try and sneak in my Indian spices so that they are always familiar with their taste buds, and at the same time, it looks cool. So we have been taking a lot of walks in the parks, and as I would put it, for the non-vegetarian diet, we need a lot of vegetables. For the vegetarian diet, we need a lot of vegetables. So keep putting vegetables on the plate, and the work gets easier and easier as we go through this quarantine. I'm ready for my next slide. These days of quarantine, we have been fighting a lot of stress, a lot of news, a lot of views, a lot of conflicting opinions that are thrown at our faces, and we don't know which way to go. Of course, for work and for play, we are resorting to this duck face. I'm doing it right now. So let's take a moment, take a deep breath, and push this chin behind. Over here, I have apparatus. And this you will always find in the Indian kitchen, and you will also find it in other kitchens, people who roll pizza, people who roll the chapati and tortilla. And then this is a chapstick, and I will show you how we can use this for self-care. We cannot go for massages and we cannot go outside to get our self-care. So we have to zoom into our day on a daily level and try and do this as much as we can. So let's all take a nice deep breath here and let it out. Let's shoulders roll it back and down all the way. Let's stretch our necks as we peel to one side. And then take a deep breath and roll and stretch our necks to the other side as we peel our ear to the shoulder. And then come back to the middle. This balun or rolling pin is so handy, and I'm going to show you how. You're going to take it here and you're going to push it down right at your neck area. Separate the stem and just breathe with the shoulder down and just separate any amount of tightness. I have a lot of tightness myself, and anyone these days who has been doing Zoom does realize that there is tightness left and right at the stem of the neck. So you want to hold this over here. You want to rest your neck over here and just move side to side. This will allow some blood flow and also allow healing, and also get rid of some kind of tightness. You can circle it in left and right in small circles, tiny circles, and to the other side in tiny circles as you breathe and keep those shoulders down. You can take this and you can tap over here, the tapping technique, and gently tap over here. You can even ask your child to do that for you, and you can do it for your child as well. And then also separate this muscle right over here, because all these are parts and parcels of a good posture. In doing this, I would encourage you to really suck that belly in, navel into the spine without stopping the breath and rolling the shoulders down and out. The second thing I use is a chapstick, simple. It's a rolling chapstick which I use for the face. The same theory applies. In the face, it helps us produce collagen. As we roll upwards, breathe, and then we roll the other side and upwards and breathe. It really facilitates blood flow and helps us fight through these times with self-care. And believe me, this takes even less than 5 minutes. If we can do this for 5 minutes every day, maybe 2 times, then we can be much more in control of these trying times that we have no clue of, that nobody's been onboarded on. And if we are kind to ourselves, we'll be able to be kind to our children and then spread it around. Thank you so much. Everything's about boundaries. Everything is about security. And I really appreciate the team that I work with, that we come together and every day we try and see our community where we are to meet its needs. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Tulika. We now open the session to any questions that our attendees would have. We have our yoga and fitness coach, Meena Natarajan. We have Sucheta Padikar from Early Learning. We have Tulika Dugar, who is our wellness and nutrition coach. And we have Kunjan Kapoor and Kavita Ramkrishnan. All are from the IAWW Early Childhood team. And we are here to answer any questions or feedback you may have.
We have Gargi as well, and she asked a question to an early childhood team, I think, how to encourage independent play among kids, whether it's 8-year-old or 1-year-old, while you are busy. Excellent question, Gargi. So for independent play, what I suggest and what I do with my grandchildren is when they visit me over the weekend, what I do is I give them each a special time. And that special time does not have to be an hour long or half an hour long, or even it can be just 5 to 10 minutes long. Do an activity just with one-on-one with your child for 10 to 15 minutes. It can be any craft activity. With your 8-year-old, it can be a cooking activity. You can make smoothie, you can make cookies, it can be just like a 15-minute activity, and you can say a science experiment, okay? And once you do that, give that special one-on-one time with your child, I really, really guarantee you that you will be able to she will be able to play independently for the rest of the time, at least for next couple of hours. And then again, in 10 more minutes, you can spend another time with your 8-year-old. And similarly, you can also play with your 18 months or 10 months old baby at the same time. You can give her 10 minutes special time. Just do a pom-pom pushing activity, or just do finger painting activity or sand scooping, any activity that you may choose. And just remember, choose each day a different activity and then rotate those activities, because you want them to get mastery in that activity. So that is an amazing question. So this special time with your child for 10 to 15 minutes will really encourage independent play. Okay, thank you for asking that question.
There is a question for Meena in the chat box. It says, do you have breathing exercise activities for young, older children? What are some activities for older students? You are muted, Meena. Can you please unmute?
Any child over 7 years can pretty much practice all the adult breathing exercises. And along with some of the similar simple poses can be practiced. Still, I would recommend one particular breathing exercise called a bumblebee breathing, which is for any age, at any point they can practice. It's a simple exercise where you can take your index finger into your ear so that you don't hear the surrounding noise and breathe through the nose. I'll demonstrate to you. Breathe through the nose. While you are exhaling, bring your chin to the sternum and bring a simple sound of a bumblebee like that. This can be practiced for at least 3 to 4 minutes, and the result is extremely calming, and you can strike a very good balance in your life. Thank you. Hope you can practice and enjoy this.
Tulika, would you like to add to that?
Yes, sure. Kunjan, I was going through the other questions for me. Can you just repeat this question?
The same one?
Yeah.
Just a moment.
It's right in front of me. I can do it.
Yeah, do you have breathing exercises, activities for young and older students? That's the question.
Yes. One is the best one for me is just take both sides of your elbow, take it behind, suck that belly in, and breathe, exhale. We can all do this. Breathe and exhale. So what I'm trying to show is if we suck that belly in, keep that shoulder down, we can still raise our arms rather than raising like this. See, there's a difference. Once we do that, we actually tell ourselves to relax.
Okay, yeah,
We
these times
relax
up.
these arms behind. We actually open here, drive the arms behind, breathe as we exhale, come back in front. And if we do this 3 times, it really helps us zoom into a quiet space and find back our center.
And I think the question was specific for toddlers, self-care with toddlers.
Yes, I was just coming to that. Self-care for toddlers, for the most part, is not going to be as easy as it sounds. Like, it is difficult for me itself to continue with a self-care routine. So going from ground zero, I would say the best way for self-care for kids is to make sure that their sleep time has not been jeopardized. Sleep, sleep, and sleep is most important, because when they have slept, I remember when I was having my kids who were that age, if they didn't have a good night's sleep, even if it was half an hour less than their usual, which is, I think, between 9 and 11 hours of sleep for a toddler, right, Sucheta? That's how I would, yes, for a healthy, start. And if they had that uh, in their practice, then they would be much more calmer and more focused and more tuned into listening to me. And with that, they would actually do the things that they need for self-care, which is brushing teeth on time, not just in the morning, but at night. And then also, making sure that they eat vegetables. And for that, they needed good focus. And for the good focus, it was all zoomed into a good, routine with tight boundaries where they felt safe. I hope that answers the question.
I can also add a little bit to it. For toddlers, it's really calming down time starts with bath. And one of the babysitters I've seen with my daughter is quite, if the child is really clanky, she just takes a warm bath, warm water in the tub, puts the toddler in there, and then some soft music and put some toys and let the toddler play. The child will immediately calm down. Another thing, for 3 to 5-year-old, what I do is I say, pick your fingers and start saying, close your eyes and say, peace begins with me. One time. Peace begins with me. Another second time. Peace begins with me. And the child will immediately calm down. 3 to 5 year old are ready and are able. And Meena and I used to do this in our class at the beginning and at the end also. We used to do our yoga, put on our yoga glasses, guys. Come on. We put our yoga glasses on. Okay, put all your hands on your lap and then say, peace begins with me. Peace begins with me. And now quietly, peace begins with me. That's it. And the child is automatically quiet. Thank you.
So there was a question about increasing immunity, and I would like
Yes.
to, during these COVID times, for me, particularly as far as kids are concerned, the best way to increase immunity, actually, you will be surprised, is taking away sugar from their diet. And I'm really, really strict about that. I say, if you want to do something sweet, have a fruit. Have a fruit to eat. Have an apple, have an orange, enjoy it. Which means that one should not, deprive themselves from having a dessert, but there's no need for Fruit Loops when there's fruit in hand. There is no need for gummy bears when there is a fruit in hand. There is no need for juice when there is a real fruit in hand. And I cannot emphasize that more, because 1 teaspoon of sugar depresses the immune system by 6 hours. And you can imagine, if a child is coming down with a cold, or if they have allergies, if they are feeling like their head is hurting, just take the sugar out and they will bounce back even faster than the Aleve or the Advil or the Tylenol or the ibuprofen. And this applies from children all the way up to 90 plus. I hope that answers your question. And of course, we can keep adding ginger and lemon water and, a little bit of honey, and, keep growing on that toolkit for all during these times. Oh, there's a question on honey and agave and sugar. Very good question. I consider all sugar. Anything that doesn't come in a real packaging is sugar. So agave is actually, agave is not really coming to you in the form it is supposed to be, because it is processed. And so is a lot of other xylitol and, a bunch of other things, Splenda. I'm not a big fan of those because all of those have been chemically altered. And so even though they say that they won't harm you, they won't get your blood sugar, high, but at the same time, they're not really recommended for long-term use. So if you have to have something sweet, you'd rather have a treat, which is a dessert. Save that for your dessert rather than having sugar in your tea, for example, or juice, for example, because that's like injecting blood sugar straight into your bloodstream without giving it any time to metabolize itself, if it makes sense. So if you're having a fruit, you can still have yogurt to kind of bring that, the spike, the sugar spike down. And so when my kids are having something sweet, I make sure that they have like a shortbread instead, because it's still not just a shot of sugar going into your veins. And if they're having an ice cream, I tell them have a salad first. And they will do that because they know they're going to have an ice cream. And if they want to have a bag of chips, I would say, fine, you got to finish this, and this, finish your greens, finish your cucumbers. They won't say no because they want their chips. That makes sense. I know. I'm a snacktivist.
Or any other questions? We have time. We have another minute left, I think, before.
So there is a question for Suchita, says how to encourage kids to try new food, as my daughter doesn't want to eat or taste anything new.
So, this is an excellent question, because how do you encourage? Because I always tell my kids, if you never tried this before, if you will not know how to taste it, and you don't have to eat all of it, but I want you to take 3 bites, because in 1 bite, you are not going to know how the food really tastes, whether it is crunchy, not crunchy, whether it's spicy, not spicy, whether it's sweet, bitter. So take 3 bites, and after 3 bites, you tell me whether you like it or not. You're not allowed to take only 1 bite and say, no, I don't want it, or no, I don't want this. And again, the same thing. When I make a pizza for my kids, what I do is I know like which kid likes which vegetables. Like one likes mushrooms and the other doesn't, but one likes tomatoes and the other doesn't. So I include 4 toppings, 2 for each child. And I say out of these 4 toppings, you're allowed to take out 1. And only 1 topping you're supposed to take it out of your pizza, and then add 3 other vegetables you're supposed to try, and completely in your first piece of pizza. Second piece of pizza, you can take the 2 vegetables out that you don't like, because I know the 2 vegetables that they really like, right? So they're supposed to. So those are the tricks, some of the tricks in your mom's sleeves, like under your grandmas and moms. I'm a grandma now. So there's the same tricks that I use with my young grandchildren, and I used it as my children. So include 4 vegetables that both you're different, because I know you have 2 or 3 kids and they all like different vegetables. So you use their 4 favorite vegetables and say you're only allowed, for first piece, you're only allowed to take out 1 piece, topping that you don't like, and eat that whole piece of pizza without taking out the other one that you don't like. And then the next piece, you can take out the second one, and then you can eat your favorite 2 toppings. So that's how I encourage. Thank you for asking that question. That was a tricky but fun question.
Well, thank you. And if there are any last minute questions, we can take one more before we close. And Kunjan, just keep an eye on if there are any questions. But I did want to take a moment to thank Best Starts for Kids King County for the amazing opportunities that you give us community-based organizations who work with our community and constantly learn from Best Starts for Kids how to do this better, how to make a thriving community. And you are so needed in this work that we do. So thank you, Best Starts for Kids, and for the support team that helped us set this up, that was patient with us, and for all our attendees who are here to listen to us here. You all are part of this great system, and we need this every day of our lives. So to our presenters and our team, thank you, because you empower communities with your work every day. And if we don't have any other questions, I think we are done for the session. But do know that there are many amazing sessions that are available on Hoover for Best Starts for Kids. I know I attended 2 today that I loved. So maybe Sucheta, you want to talk about one that you're planning to attend?
Yeah, I think I will attend one session that is there tomorrow for early childhood education children, and I will do that one. So, and thank you so much for attending, everybody, today. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Namaste. Do we automatically get logged off, or you're
No,
supposed to?
the team
You
can
can
just
leave. I will just wait for a minute. You can leave if you want, Suchita.
No, that's okay. I mean, I can wait.
Did you see the comments in the chat box? They were good comments we got.
Yes, lots of you. Yeah, thank you so much. Thanks,
Captured
Kunjan.
few of them.
And
Yeah.
thank you, Gargi.
Thank you.
And we
Thank you,
can take
team.
some time to debrief and, get some ideas based off of this. They are still fresh on your mind. So it would be great to get some ideas for other sessions that you may be running. So Tulika, any thoughts from you? The your rolling pin exercise. Yes,
Oh,
for those of us who are waiting on, and Blishta, any comments from you?
I think she left.
And then I came back. Oh my God.
Oh,
Can I have your contact information? I love the session so much.
I am putting down emails. Sucheta par at IAWW
Sucheta P at
P.
IAWW.org.
at IAWW.org. Org. And Meena, Meena Natrajan.
Meena N at IAWW.org. Meena, Neena at IAWW.org.
These are the contact informations that you have for the team. Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
thank you.
Awesome. Well, I will see you all.
Thank you.
I'm going to end.
Bye.
I will just end the session now.